Hello and welcome to episode 9 of the Lucas and Lucas podcast. Lucas Frankel and Mike Lucas, and week in and week out, this person over here just continues to not learn his lesson. This past week when the Saints were down by 10 in the first half, he texted me, Drew Brees is done, and what does he proceed to do? Lead the Saints to yet another win. They've won 4 straight. They're now a half game back of the Buccaneers for first place in the NFC South. Every week the same thing happens. I just can't believe that you never learn your lesson. What do you have to say for yourself, you imbecile?
That I'm still correct. Drew Brees still sucks, and his arm is about as strong as an al dente piece of linguine right now. The dude can't complete a pass more than 10 yards downfield if there's even a semblance of coverage. Every time New Orleans needs a big third down conversion, they run a little Texas route or a little route for Kamara in the flat. He makes 4 guys miss. It has nothing to do with Drew Brees putting the ball on target deep downfield. I'll give him a little bit of credit because Michael Thomas is out, but I have seen absolutely nothing since week 1 when New Orleans played Tampa Bay that has shown me any indication that Drew Brees and his noodle arm is capable of leading the Saints to a significant win this week, or really a significant win throughout the season. They haven't beaten anyone yet, Frank. Look at the schedule. Chicago stinks. Who they play last week? Carolina, not very good. He beat Nick Foles. You want to clap up for that. I know Tom Brady couldn't do it in the Super Bowl, but let's not pretend that the Bears have an offensive machine back there in Chicago. Like I said, his arm stinks. Is he smart enough to win you games? Will he avoid dumb mistakes like Daniel Jones refuses to do? Yes. Is he a bad quarterback? Yes. At this point of his career, Drew Brees, I'd put him in the bottom, maybe 10, maybe bottom 8 quarterbacks I trust right now.
Wow, bottom 8. So you're talking about like out of 32 starting quarterback season, you're bottom 8? Is that what you're telling me?
I guess some guys are hurt now, but yeah. I mean, I've seen nothing from him that gives me any sort of confidence. He can complete those 7-yard comebacks and outs, and Kamara is going to pick up massive chunks after the catch time and time again because he's special. But Drew Brees has not generated any big – what does this say about Drew Brees? That even Sean Payton knows when they need a big play, it's get the ball to Kamara in space – or put Taysom Hill on the field to draw some confusion on the defense. He does not trust his quarterback enough to make a big-time throw without throwing some sort of deception into the offensive game plan, Frank. What's your response to that? Taysom Hill's the best quarterback on the roster.
All right, here are the facts.
Jameis Winston might be the second best.
Here are the facts. You want me to spit some facts your way?
Then what numbers don't mean anything anymore, Frank. Watch the game.
For 280-plus yards in 4 of his last 5 games. He has at least multiple touchdown passes in 4 of his last 5 games. He leads the NFL completion percentage with 73.1% of his passes. He is completing 62.5% of his passes on throws, 20-plus yards down the field. That's tied for the best in the entire NFL with Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Was he 3 for 5?
Say what you want about him.
All right, well, first off, the completion percentage is skewed because he doesn't throw anything more than 6 yards, and he throws almost as many screens as he does actual balls that go beyond the first down marker. Second off, defenses are so close to the line of scrimmage because he really can't throw the ball deep that when he does go deep, he has one-on-one coverage, and I'm sure that has inflated his deep ball percentage. He's going to put up points. The Saints offense with their weapons, with Kamara, for example, you remember when they played, I believe it was Green Bay? He gets credited with the 57-yard touchdown pass to Kamara, that little screen pass. Kamara made 7 guys miss. That in the stat book is a 57-yard touchdown pass for Drew Brees. The ball traveled negative 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage, Frank. I'm not saying he can't win games. He could obviously help you win games. And Chicago, when I texted you, I said, hey, he stinks. Then Chicago starts playing prevent defense, and he throws the easiest touch. I mean, I've seen Jacob Lefkowitz and you throw the football, and I think both of you could complete that touchdown pass to Jared Cook. That's how little coverage there was on the back end from Chicago. But yeah, if the game came down to can Drew Brees make a throw to move the chains, if it's not 3rd and 3, I still don't trust him. And I think a lot of people are starting to come along and be on the right side, my side of history in this debate, Frank. We won't know till the playoffs. This is all meaningless and mute till the playoffs roll around, but I still have zero faith in the Saints moving forward.
You're completely – I mean, listen, like, is he the same guy from a couple of years ago? No, but he is perfectly capable of doing what Peyton Manning did 5 years ago and leading that team to the Super Bowl title.
Peyton Manning stunk that year. Peyton Manning was horrendous his last year at Denver.
I mean, you're basically saying – I mean, so in your mind, they're basically the same player. Essentially, that was what you're saying, right? Him and Peyton from 2000.
I just said Peyton Manning stinks and stunk his last year in Denver. And I'm saying Drew Brees stinks this year and has stunk this season in New Orleans. So, yeah. Also, can we talk about, real quick, we talk about Fox putting the breaking news graphic up when Drew Brees threw a touchdown pass to pass Tom Brady, only to be surpassed the following night on Monday Night Football. Could we just stop with the, crowning these guys a touchdown kings till the end of the season? Because whoever plays earlier in the day, or I guess this week they're playing each other, but whoever plays earlier in the day is going to get surpassed by the one who plays later in the week. It's dumb. I don't need break. I thought someone died, and all I know is it was, flashing. Drew Brees has one more touchdown pass than Tom Brady, who's going to break the record tomorrow.
What bothers me is that they don't like stop the game and like really like soak it in. I feel like, if they're going to do it, you might as well go all the way, right?
If you're going to put a breaking news bumper, stop the game, give him his little plaque, and then take it away from him at the end of the game. Be like, well, this is Tom's tomorrow, and we're going to ship it to Tampa Bay and give it to him. It'll be interesting to see those two on the field together this Sunday night. It should be a great game Sunday night.
So you're saying it's going to be competitive? Why won't the Buccaneers win by like 30 points? Based on your logic, the Saints have no chance, right? No chance.
They could barely beat the Giants, and the Giants stink. They beat Tampa Bay to week 1. And what did I tell you in week 1? You asked what team do you have more confidence moving forward? I said Eon's more confidence in Tampa Bay. I think they win by 15 points.
You think the Buccaneers by 15? Okay.
Bucks by 15.
All right, I'll remember that for next week, and you'll look like an idiot again.
Bucks by 15. Mark it down.
Okay,
Mortal lock of the century.
Antonio Brown will make his debut for the Buccaneers in that one first game since September of last season with the New England Patriots. He claims that he's learned from his past mistakes, that he's humble, that he's a new man. We'll see how it goes. He's got a lot of mouths to feed on that offense does Tom Brady, Evans, Godwin, Gronk, Fournette. I'm always into storylines, and this is one heck of a storyline. I don't know how it's going to play out, but I'm definitely excited to see it.
I'm going to steal some stats from ESPN. Brady is 6 for 6 in the red zone with 6 touchdowns throwing to Mike Evans. He has a 94% completion percentage throwing to Chris Godwin this year. And Scotty Miller has, if I remember correctly, the second highest open rate of all slot receivers in the NFL. So the success of him getting open in the slot, if whatever scheme they're designing can get Scotty Miller open almost as much as any slot receiver in the league, I think Antonio Brown's going to be wide, stinking open. And that's a scary thing for defenses. Will he mix with the other guys? Will he be happy catching maybe 3-4 passes a game? Who knows? I don't put anything past Antonio Brown. And if he doesn't get 17 catches, he's probably going to be upset despite not playing since early last year. I think it has disaster written all over it eventually because I just don't trust Antonio Brown to be, in line for a significant period of time. But I think while he is there, we know Tom Brady loves him and he's going to look his way often.
So in your mind, he does not finish the season with the Buccaneers. This is not something that he will not be a part of the Buccaneers postseason roster.
Based on recent history, I would not bet that he could stay out of trouble for more than, for 9 weeks now to make the playoffs? Recent history suggests he's not happy on a team for more than 3 weeks. So who knows? Or he can't stay out of trouble for more than 3 weeks.
We'll see how it goes. Him and Brady are living together. He's wearing the Tom Brady hat. It's like he's doing everything in his own power to be as like the number one Brady suck-up he could possibly be. So that way, if he ever does anything stupid, he could claim that he's living with Brady and kick him out. That's just like
it's true. No, you're right.
And I feel when I'm watching like him in these press conferences with the Brady hat on and the fact that they're living together, I feel like he's trying everything he can to make it so that if he ever does do anything stupid, that Brady will try to take his side and make it so that way they don't cut him like the Patriots did last year. But we'll see how it all plays out. I'm excited for it. I hope he scores a touchdown just because I love the attention that it garners on a national level. Let's go to the Giants. And once again, their season just doesn't make any sense. They have 1 win, but they could easily have like 4 wins. They probably should be in first place in that division. But game in and game out, they blow it. They blew a 14-3 lead at their last game against the Buccaneers. So it was 25-23. They were winning 14-3. They covered the spread pretty easily. The big controversy was that wasn't pass interference on the 2-point conversion. What was your thought process as you were watching that game?
So that was Monday night. We had high school playoffs down here on Monday, so I missed the whole first half. So I'm listening on the radio.
Big fan. Okay, keep going.
Excuse me for working. Some of us have to work, Frankel, unlike you. But I listened to the first half on the radio, and I was getting cautiously optimistic. I'm like, it sounds like the Giants are playing well. I thought they were going to lose by 4. I really thought they were going to lose by 40. I thought Tampa Bay was going to absolutely smoke them. And I get back to the station. I edit my highlight. I turn it on for the start of the third quarter. First thing that stood out to me was those jerseys and that turf. Perfect mix. I mean, that was like the ideal trio of colors, aesthetically pleasing to my eyes. And then the defense played well. And I didn't expect them to slow down that Buccaneers offense, but Joe Judge has that defense. It's frisky. They're not necessarily good, but they're frisky enough to kind of be a headache for other teams because they do some unique blitzes. Patrick Graham has done a good job designing coverages that aren't traditional and designing ways to get to the quarterback. And then Daniel Jones had that dumb interception. Daniel Jones he's addicted to making stupid plays because he has all the talent in the world. That game, or what should have been the game-tying touchdown pass to Golden Tate, you cannot throw a football better than that. And for him to go from that extreme high to whether or not it was pass interference, he threw the ball 3 seconds late, and he threw it behind Golden Tate. If that's out ahead of him or thrown on time, that's an easy 2-point conversion. We're heading to overtime. I have no idea what Daniel Jones is. I've now watched him for 18 games, Frank, and I have absolutely no idea what he is. I think he's talented. I think at times he looks like a franchise quarterback, and then he makes that Carson Wentz, Ben Roethlisberger play that if it works, it's amazing. If not, just throw it away and live to see another down interception. And he's addicted to do it. He either drops the ball and fumbles or just throws it away. And the Giants aren't good enough to give possessions away, and he does it twice a game. I don't know what to make of it. To answer your question, this is a long-winded way of answering your question was, it felt like I hit a home run, and as I was rounding the bases, I got to second base, someone took the baseball bat and just sucker punched me with it in the stomach. That's what it felt.
Now that are you happy that they lost, or are you like?
My initial reaction was good. We need to keep pace with the Jets, or keep pace because we have the second pick in the draft right now if the season were to end. But after watching that game and seeing the rest of the NFC East, I still think the Giants are the best team in the NFC East and should be your NFC East champions. And I don't know if that makes sense for a team that's 1-7. Has that ever been said before, that a 1-7 team might be the best team in the division?
The Eagles are better. Who are you playing? The Eagles are so much better.
The Giants should have beat Philadelphia. The Giants once again choked it away. They should have beat Philly.
When push comes to shove, though, who do you trust to win? Who do you trust in that spot? It's the Eagles, and it's not close.
Yeah, but Carson Wentz is equally as stupid at behind center as Daniel Jones. I mean, they're addicted. The NFC East has a turnover problem right now. Dwayne Haskins, Daniel Jones, Carson Wentz, not Dak Prescott, but Ganucci, Andy Dalton. These guys are addicted to turning the ball over, and for their flashes of greatness, they have more just moments of idiocracy than any single group of quarterbacks I've ever seen.
Carson Wentz. He hasn't been the player that a lot of. But
he has 16 turnovers through 8 games. He's averaging 2 a game.
You're crazy. You're delusional. As for Daniel Jones, watching like the replays and like when you like watch like the behind the quarterback angle that I wish networks would show, you see like how I think Daniel Jones has a really, really big issue of being unable to read what's in front of him. And I think that's one of those things that he just hasn't been able to overcome, because you watch like the replays and you see like, wow, that dude was like 30 yards, no one near him. And Daniel Jones is like looking at the dude that was like triple covered. I think that is probably his Achilles heel as a quarterback. And you think you say he's all the talent. I don't know. I look at like what I beat with the Jets. I'm a sucker for Justin Fields, and I'm starting to think that I might want him over Trevor Lawrence.
That's a hot take. I think you just hate Trevor Lawrence. Now, you may be a big Justin Fields fan, but let's not hide your bias here. We talked about it last week, Frank, that you're already sick of Trevor Lawrence, despite the fact he isn't even on your team yet and may not even declare for the draft. I think they're both generational talents at quarterback. And you look at the last few draft classes, I thought Joe Burrow was in that category. I did not think Herbert or Tua was. And so far, at least Herbert looks the part. You go back a year, I didn't think Kyler was. Kyler looks damn good. I definitely didn't think Daniel Jones and Dwayne Haskins were. And it's not often that you have a generational talent at that position come through. There's always guys going to be taken first overall, second overall. Mitch Trubisky comes to mind. Like, we didn't see Patrick Mahomes or Deshaun Watson's generational talents. Josh Allen, same thing. Even back to the Baker Mayfield draft where there was 5 quarterbacks. None of those guys come even remotely close scouting grade to what Lawrence or Fields will be. And as a Giants fan and as a Jets fan, I think if you could get either one of those two, you have to take them.
Who do you want? Who would you prefer?
I take Lawrence.
Take Lawrence. Really? I think Fields is way more athletic. I think he could disguise the flaws on your team better than Lawrence can. And that's one of the reasons why I'm leaning Fields. I think he's just an overall better athlete. And that's one of the reasons why I lean towards him.
Can I ask you a question real quick?
No.
Do you know how athletic Lawrence is?
I just feel like he's not nearly as agile as Fields. I know obviously he's a great athlete. Otherwise he wouldn't be in this conversation. But I just feel like Fields is just overall just straight up a more naturally gifted athlete than Lawrence is. It's not saying that he's not a great quarterback. I just think that Fields is the better quote unquote pure athlete.
I agree with that. I don't know if the gap is as big as you may think it is or others may think it is, because Lawrence is a really good athlete himself. But yeah, Fields is unbelievable athletic. His accuracy this year has been unbelievable. He's only missed 3 passes? Something like that. He's like 57 of 62 this season. Something absurd. And they beat a pretty good Penn State team last week, so it's not like they haven't played anyone in the Big Ten yet. I get a little nervous that Ohio State quarterbacks always look great in college and don't always look great in the pros. But I would still take Lawrence. But if Fields was there at 2 for the Giants, I'd take him in a heartbeat.
That Chris Olave dude is a freak of nature.
First round pick as well, for sure.
I mean, the catches that dude was making against Penn State were just unbelievable. And obviously it's probably a recency bias thing. Like, you see Fields and he is just, as you said, I mean, he can't throw an incompletion if his life depended on it. And the incomplete passes he did throw, his receivers dropped. I mean, he's been so this year. It's stupid. Like, hit video game on rookie numbers, and you probably can't even do that well on video game rookie. So the Jets, last thing on the Jets, obviously they lost to the Chiefs. Mahomes really salt in their wound with 5 touchdown passes over 400 yards. Did not take it easy by any means. Le'Veon Bell was easily the weak link of that team. I hope they just stop playing him, and because he's a waste of space. Like, why is he even on the team? Why are they even giving him the ball? His explosiveness is gone. He had that one nice play for, I believe, he went like 18 yards or whatever it was on a screen pass. But other than that, he provides nothing positive to that team other than spelling Clyde Edwards-Helaire for a nice little break. But Le'Veon's finished. Last game proved it. I expect him to contribute nothing positive going forward for that team.
I just want to note, I'm sure you saw this stat, but Mahomes had 5 touchdown passes against the Jets on Sunday. The Jets had 4 touchdown passes.
Don't even waste your energy
this season. No, I just wanted to make sure if somehow you hadn't seen that stat yet, that I'd remind you that Patrick Mahomes had 5 touchdown passes on Sunday, and the Jets have thrown 4 all season. As for Le'Veon Bell, he's only there to spell Clyde. He might get some touches in short yardage situations because Clyde hasn't been great in those this season. And Bell, his explosiveness isn't there, but he's still pretty capable of picking up 2-3 yards if necessary. But yeah, he's option W on an offense with legitimate options at A through to U. A to U, they have legitimate options on that offense.
He is I do not root for him, but either way. Lamar Jackson lost again. He's now 5-2. Before everyone starts freaking out, the Ravens were 5-2 at this point last season. Closed the season at 14-2. So it's not like they haven't been in this spot before. They've
also lost to the Chiefs and the Steelers.
Let me finish.
The best team.
Lamar has 12 touchdown passes, 4 interceptions this time last year. He had 11-5. So that he's actually better in that category. However, the fact that as you interrupted me and made a point that he has lost to the Chiefs and Steelers, I'm out on Lamar. I don't think that he ever will get to where Ravens fans hopes that he will get to. I just think that whenever he has a big game, he crumbles. It's happened every big game he's played in his career. He chokes, and I don't see that ever changing. And the sooner the Ravens realize that, the quicker we can move on with our lives.
I don't think the Lamar Jackson experiment in Baltimore is over or dead by any means, but we've seen this trend in the NFL before. there's this hot new commodity, this hot new offense that defenses aren't prepared for and can't prepare for in 1 week. Think back to RG3 with the Redskins. Think back to the Wildcat in my RG3 with the Redskins.
Washington, yeah, go ahead.
With the Washington football team, correct?
Yeah, this is a PG rated podcast, so watch your tone there.
I do apologize. So think about RG3 with the Washington football team. Think about the Wildcat with the Dolphins back in the day. And it works for a season. And teams, for whatever reason, can't figure it out with only 1 week to prepare. But as soon as they get an off season to dissect more tape, check out the trends, figure out, hey, this is what Baltimore or whatever team wants to do. These are the ways we should try and prevent them from doing that. And Lamar, I feel like, is the latest casualty of that. He's still not a great passer from the pocket. Tennessee did it to him last season. Pittsburgh did it to him last week. The Chiefs did it to him earlier this season in week 3. He's deadly when he can get out, run, and when they are running the ball. And if you can stop the run, and we've seen Mark Ingram take a massive step back, so much so that Frankel dropped him in our fantasy league because he's been just absolutely a no-show. So, yeah, when they can't run the ball, he has not proven he could pass the ball efficiently against good defenses yet, Frank. And until he proves that, I think you have to take the Ravens and their success with a grain of salt.
All right. First of all, they had J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards, who I believe combined for like 200 rushing yards. So they run the ball just fine against the Steelers. And every time Lamar falls behind, he just crumbles. It's unbelievable. He is one of the worst throwers of the football. That last play, I mean, what is he doing? Throwing the triple coverage to Willie Snead? I mean, that play was doomed from the start. I don't trust him one bit in a big spot. And every time they're in a game against a team that is equally as like, I guess, a Mahomes or a Roethlisberger or a Russell Wilson, I'm betting the other way every single time because there's no reason why I didn't believe that Lamar will ever come through in a big spot ever again. I have no faith that he'll ever do it. And I actually got the Colts this week, which is an interesting game. This theoretically should be the game where Lamar, proves all the critics wrong. But if they lose this game, then my panic meter is like a 10 out of 10. Then I'm like, holy crap, this is going to fail horribly.
I agree. At the moment, I think there's reason to be worried, but the panic button's not on the table. If they lose this week, it's red flag time, and we have to reevaluate what we are as an offense. I do think John Harbaugh is misusing some of his pieces. Where's Hollywood Brown? Well, I mean, I know he tweeted after the game, but that dude was a massive part of their success last year, his ability to stretch the field. This year, has he scored a touchdown?
Yeah, he scored last week. He scored, yeah. I believe he had 2 catches or whatever he had, but yeah, he scored.
That's how invisible he was. So yeah, I'm not ready to cross them off yet, but I do think.
Who said anything about they're going to be a playoff team? They're not going to go anywhere.
Well, you said you don't trust him to win any big game. That's essentially saying you're crossing him off. Who would you rather have today, Lamar Jackson?
I believe can win the Super Bowl.
Who would you rather have, Lamar Jackson or Drew Brees right now?
Drew Brees.
You are so wrong. Oh my goodness.
Who do I trust more? Who do I trust more to win a big game? Drew Brees. Easy.
Next topic.
What has Lamar Jackson ever done to make you believe that he can get it done in a big game? Name one thing. Go right now.
That he could throw the ball more than 4 yards downfield.
Drew Brees leads the NFL completion percentage on throws of over 20 yards.
You could skew any stat. You could skew any stat you want to fit your narrative, Frank. Does he have the fewest attempts of any?
I haven't looked at the attempts.
See, exactly. So you better come back with the real advanced analytics if you're going to try dropping a nugget like that on me.
I didn't try to. I did, and Lamar's. Listen, all right. You want to believe in him? That's fine.
I got you, Fuzz. No, I'm with you. I just think he's still better than Drew Brees.
Remaining schedules at the Colts. By the way, who wins that game?
I'm going to pick the Ravens because I think it's a must-win for them. It's a must-win for Baltimore.
All right, so you say, all right, when you use the term must-win, I hate that term because Cam called the other game a must-win last week against the Bills and they lost. Nothing changed. So what does that mean?
It's a mentality. It's more than they're going to make the playoffs. They're going to make the playoffs regardless.
Oh, so it's not a must-win.
No, it's a must-win for their – okay, I guess technically there's no such thing as a must-win outside of playoff games. But I think it's a game that they need desperately for their psyche and the confidence of the team moving forward, especially for their best player, Lamar Jackson, who has been dragged through the mud by the likes of you and me for the last week, and rightfully so.
If he loses, what happens?
No, they're not making a change, but they have.
They can't make any changes. Trade deadline passed.
That doesn't. They're not
Be
going to
wrong again. Be wrong again.
I'm saying they can't. I said they can't make a change. First off, if you would listen, Frank, you got 2 giant ears on your Dumbo-sized head for a reason. Use them for once. I said they can't make a change, but maybe they change the way they approach their offense and they just become Army and run the triple option every play. That's what happens if they lose the game.
All right. Lamar's trash. Clemson, Notre Dame on Saturday. Clemson is a 5.5-point favorite despite barely beating Boston College. They trailed by 18 points in the second quarter and still managed to win. Clemson, by the way, this snaps a streak of 37 straight regular season games where they've been a double-digit favorite. Notre Dame has won 22 straight at home. It will once again be DJ Uiagalelei under center. I got the name down.
Good job.
Yeah, I've been practicing nonstop, and no one says his name better than I do, so you're welcome there. Who wins?
Clemson. I think they won pretty handily, too. I don't think Notre Dame is very good, if we're being honest. I think they're the most overrated team in the country right now. And offensively, we didn't see a giant drop-off, even with DJ Uiagalelei.
You really don't know how to say his name? Uiagalelei.
Uiagalelei.
No, repeat after me. Seriously, take this seriously.
I am.
Uiagalelei.
Uiagalelei.
Yeah, DJ Uiagalelei. It's very
DJ. Say Giannis's last name real quick.
Antetokounmpo.
Very good job. Okay, the offense didn't take a big step back. DJ 5-star. I'm gonna call him DJ 5-star. Threw for 300 yards, rushed for 45 more and a touchdown. They scored 30-plus points. It was the defense that was the issue. I think they were lackadaisical. I think they were going to walk in there, smoke Boston College. I love Boston College's quarterback, by the way. Their offense with Jeff Tarpley was humming. I don't think Notre Dame's offense is as good as Boston College's is. And while their defense might be better, it's not good enough to slow down Travis Etienne, DJ Uiagalelei, and all his weapons.
Can you at least try to say his name right?
That was not right?
No, Uiagalelei.
That was, yeah. I'll say it again.
It's not Lele. Uiagalelei, you imbecile. That's the second time I've had to call you that on this.
Notre Dame's defense is better than Boston College's, but it's still not good enough to slow down Travis Etienne, Amari Rodgers, and DJ Uiagalelei.
Oh, my God. Whatever. All right. I'm not betting on the game. I have no idea what's going to happen. You could tell me Clemson wins by 30. You could tell me Notre Dame wins by 3. I believe both. So I'm staying away. I have no idea what to read into this game at all. All I know is that Uiagalelei is a 5-star prospect. People say that we've had a recruiting guy on our air who said he's the best prospect he's ever seen. Whether he's ready to take that step in a big game right now today, I don't know. Down the line, though, his future is obviously as high as anyone that you could ever think. So we'll see how that goes. Florida, Georgia, in Jacksonville. Georgia's only a 3-point favorite. Kyle Trask is a monster. Kyle Pitts is a future. I'd love for the Jets to get him as well. Maybe trade back in the first round and get him because could be a lethal pass catcher for at least a decade plus at the tight end position. I love Florida. I'm like really close to betting like on Florida, like a sizable amount of money.
What's the line? I know Georgia's
by 3.
What's the money line if you bet Florida?
It would be plus money. Give me 1 second here.
Because I'm with you. I think Florida wins this game, Frank.
What am I missing though? Like what? I mean, Stetson Bennett is trash. He's been trash all season. Especially the last 2 games.
What you're missing is
plus 140.
That's an interesting bet. I would go in on you with that, Frank.
I mean, Texas A&M. I thought the same again. For granted, I thought the same thing for Texas A&M. Texas A&M has proven to be a lot better than people thought at that time. But still, I mean, Kyle Trask is at least a top 5 quarterback in the nation, maybe even number 3.
Yeah, he's up there. I think what at least Vegas is looking at is Georgia's offense isn't very good, but Florida's defense is horrendous as well. Florida's defense that slowed down Missouri this past week. Missouri has been so up and down they've looked fantastic against LSU. The offense has been non-existent other games of the season. I'm not sure if that's a real testament to the Florida defense or just the inconsistency of a true freshman quarterback in Connor Baselick for the Tigers and a lot of just young weapons. But Georgia's defense is good. Florida's offense is good. Florida's defense is bad. Georgia's offense is bad. When that's the situation, I trust the best players on the field. And the 2 best players on the field, Frank, the 2 Kyles, Pitts and Trask. I put my money on Florida as well.
We'll see. I don't know. I'm very confused as to why that line is what it is. We'll see if I guess we'll see if I'm proven wrong on Saturday. But kind of really love Florida.
I'll tell you, a lot of Aggie fans are rooting for the Gators as well, Frank.
What is it? SEC West implications?
It just A&M. It boosts their resume if they're win over Florida, with Florida being as good as possible.
I mean, no one is beating Alabama in the SEC West, so your any hopes that A&M could possibly have it making the SEC title game is pretty much
nope. They're looking at the 4th college football playoff spot as an at-large second SEC team.
Okay. So I guess they would have to win out then. Okay.
They'd have to win out. Florida beats Georgia. Florida plays Bama in the SEC championship. So they play the SEC East champion. Alabama crushes Florida. And then it comes down to like Cincinnati, BYU, and A&M for that last spot.
Yeah, Cincinnati's not making it. They could run the table, but they're not making it. That's not happening. Sorry.
It could be that helps A&M. That helps me, Frank.
All right. NBA, the Nets. I mean, I don't know what they're trying to do here. This experiment is it's doomed to fail. They can make any hire that you can want. I mean, right now their coaching staff is Steve Nash, Mike D'Antoni, and Amari Stoudemire. I mean, what the hell are they doing? I mean, yeah, it looks great on paper, but you still have Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant. You have no idea what to expect. I mean, what are they trying to achieve here? What am I missing?
I don't know exactly what the format is. I think Steve Nash is bringing in guys that he trusts to help him, and maybe Amari's a good player development guy. Who I have no idea what he brings to the table. I honestly don't. Maybe his wine baths will help extend Durant's career by 4 years, and that's the goal. And if that's what's going to happen, then I'm totally okay with that. D'Antoni, he brings in a guy with legitimate head coaching experience, legitimate playoff coaching experience, and a guy that offensively is elite. Now his system is dated a bit, and it's not necessarily been successful in the playoffs, but it's a system that has produced immaculate numbers in the regular season and has proven the test of time as the NBA has changed from a bang in the post game to a 3-point shooting game. Trade wise, I don't know. I don't know what the plan is. I don't think anyone knows because Steve Nash is a brand new head coach. But one thing D'Antoni was really good at, and one thing Nash has said he wants to do, is get the ball in his best player's hands and let him go to work. And if those three minds, with Jock Vaughn, who I think was a big get to stay on the staff, can figure out ways to get KD the ball in places to score, Kyrie to get the ball in places to score, LeVert, Dinwiddie, Joe Harris, assuming they re-sign him. They also should trade Dinwiddie for somebody and possibly LeVert, just because I don't know where his minutes go this year with all the guys on the floor. I would love to see him bring in Drew Holiday. Dinwiddie and a couple of picks for Drew Holiday would be my ideal situation. But yeah, I don't know, Frank. I don't know.
It's interesting because by the time all our millions of fans listen to this, we'll probably know the NBA season to start on December 22nd, which basically gives all these teams like about a month of an off. I mean, the draft is, I believe, November 17th, and then they're starting the season a month after that. I mean, this is going to be one of the most unique off seasons ever, which is part of me believes that you might not see any movement because you got to get ready for a season here. It's going to be weird.
But it's also money. Teams.
I'm not talking about the money aspect. I understand why they have to start when they do. It's just
no. But I mean, if they're going to get a little less money from the revenues and they're over the luxury tax right now, they may be willing to shed a player to get them under the tax, even if the return's not necessarily $1 for $1.
We'll see what happens. The season's going to start on December 22nd, and it's going to be a weird start to the season because it's about 8 weeks after LeBron won his championship. So we'll see.
Did you see what he said in the shop? Real quick, did you see what he said in the shop?
I have not seen that.
He said, if we start on Christmas, I'll cherry pick the whole first half of the season. I'm not getting back on defense.
I'm excited to watch that play out. Last thing before we go, AL MVP finalists were announced earlier this week. Jose Ramirez, Jose Abreu, and DJ LeMahieu. This one's easy, no bias. It's DJ LeMahieu. You watch the Yankees and what they went through this year with Giancarlo Stanton being basically a non-factor all year. Aaron Judge missed basically 80% of the season. Gary Sanchez was a non-factor. Gleyber Torres forgot how to play baseball. The one constant from after he came back from COVID and got over his little wrist issue was LeMahieu. He won the batting title. He had 363. Just an absolute machine. When push came to shove, you needed a hit. you knew who to count on. He was there. He was reliable. He is the rock of the team. And for me, I know, listen, Jose Abreu had a great year, but the White Sox choked away that division at the end. Jose Ramirez, I mean, I don't remember him doing a single – I mean, I didn't really watch the Indians. Who cares about Jose Ramirez? This is DJ LeMay who's the war to lose, and I'd be very annoyed if he didn't win.
LeMahieu's the only guy out of the Yankees lineup I actually trust to get a hit. At any point in any game, he's the only guy I trust. Luke Voit, home run leader. Shout out him. Just saying. No reason. But Mike Trout's still the best player in baseball. But yeah, I agree. LeMahieu, if he doesn't win, it's anti-New York bias. And if the Yankees don't give him a Brinks truck full of $100 bills this offseason, I will be livid.
I will be as well. And that'll do it for episode 9 of the Lucas and Lucas podcast. You know where to find us. YouTube, Apple Podcasts. You know where to find me at Lucas Frankel on Twitter. Respond to me. Trevor Lawrence, I'm still waiting.
You can find me at KAGS_Lucas or just look at Lucas's replies to my common sense to his ridiculous tweets.
And now the police are going to get Mike, and that'll do it for us. Mike, it was nice knowing you.